Heyo, and welcome back to the Boston Sports Brothers podcast. We got the URI crew this evening, and we also have fellow native Rhode Islander, better known as Pete Sheppard. Many folks probably listening in remember him from his days on the Big Show on WEEI in the 90s and 2000s with Big O. We were just talking about Big O. We'll get an update on him shortly and the rotating cast of characters that Pete worked with there. And Pete is currently doing a show online on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. You can find everything at his social media handles. We'll talk everything about that. Pete, how are you tonight? Many thanks to you for joining us.
Josh, Gabe, Sam, good. I was gonna say good afternoon, good evening. I forget
Yeah,
what time
good
it is.
evening.
Yeah, good evening. How are you guys doing? It's great to be with you.
Thanks for coming
Thank you
on.
for
So
joining us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Always
doing well, doing well.
yeah.
doing well.
I was watching Food Truck Wars. My relaxation when I'm not talking about sports and everything else is I love cooking shows. So I was just
Oh,
watching Food Truck
Phantom
Wars, getting caught
Gourmet
up on the
and
do you
latest.
like
For the Red
supermarket
Sox.
stakeout?
You know what? That's one of the few I don't watch. And Alex does that. Oh no, yeah, Alex Corner Shelley does that, right? Supermarket
Yeah.
Steak. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good show. I like it. I like it. And I've talked to actually, I'm going to have celebrity chef Derek Fox on my show. He was runner up in Master Six, season six of Master Chef. He's coming on with me Thursday. I was just in Dallas recently. We had lunch together. Still trying to get over
Very
the
cool.
Amber L thing. It's just so sad what happened to her. So sad. But anyway, yes, I love Alex, and that's one of the shows that I can't watch them all, but I watch most of them on Food Network.
There we go.
Anyway,
Look at that. Starting off food. We love food.
I love to cook. I'm
We are
Italian. I'm 100%. My wife's Greek Irish, so we well.
excellent.
Yeah.
All right. We'll
I could
get
talk about this one for days. The
Oh,
Gordon
I know,
Ramsay's
right?
Secret
Yeah,
Service right now. I don't
yeah.
know if you watch that one on Fox.
I
It's a good
watched
show
all
too.
Gordon is that's I still one of the few people I haven't met yet. I love Gordon to death, and Chef Derek Fox works closely with him now. So I'm
Well, you
hoping
got to
we
get
got
him
some
on your
set coming
show.
up. Hoping that's going to happen sooner rather than later. Let's put it that way. Things are in the works.
That's awesome.
love it. Well, we might just have to do the Boston Food Bros tonight. Screw the
Well,
sports.
I mean, that's hey, when in doubt, ask people what cereal they hate the most or love the most. Hey, I've done 4 hour shows not only in Boston but down here when I was at ESPN Southwest. I mean, I can do shows outside of sports. It piques people's interest. It doesn't.
Sure does.
Who's your
Out of
favorite superhero? What superpower would you like to have? What Avenger sucks? I mean, could go on and on.
do you
I'm
know
such a
who
nerd.
you know who Joe Murray is? Are you familiar with him? He's up this way.
Oh, Joe. Yeah, of course, Joe at 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I mean Joe
Yeah.
Joe has unbelievable food references, and
Yeah.
he gets food drops at the station like it's no
Yep.
tomorrow.
Hmm. Yep.
So excellent. All right, well, there's a lot to talk about in the sports arena, in the sports world. We're gonna kick things off with a team that goes hot, then they go a little bit cold, and then they seem to get hot again. Kraz, it's your beloved Boston Red Sox coming off a tough series out west versus the Padres, but they've been cleaning up at Fenway and had a successful series in homestand before heading out there. So, Kraz, set the table just in terms of the Sox. Pete, want to get your input in terms of where you think the team's at now. Certainly, your thoughts from the beginning of the season till now, and the floor is open. So, Kraz, anything you want to set the table with, and then Pete chime in.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just kind of start and just touch on, kind of where they've been at. I mean, I'm a huge Red Sox homer, so I think they're gonna, I think they're gonna win the AL East every single year, if you ask me. This year,
Don't get
not
him
with the
going.
pitching that they had last year. This year, however, though, my expectations for them really were uh, a little bit higher. I didn't think we were going to get this out of Giolito, what we were getting. I knew what we were going to get out of Crochet. Bueller was kind of a wild card, and so is Bayo. It was unfortunate that both Dobbins and Fitz went down. They seem to really kind of fit the young guy's profile really well. But between the five, Giolito, Crochet, May, and Bueller, we've got a combined 506 innings pitched, which is pretty decent. I just really like seeing growth with this team. We're going to get growing pains because it's a new team, it's a new face of the franchise. So to see them doing it and they're winning, baseball, they're doing it the way that they should be doing it. They're beating the teams that they should be beating. I believe currently they have a record that's above 500 against teams above 500.
Yep.
And, they're doing what they're supposed to do at home. So, really they're doing what they're supposed to do. And it's just, let's hope they carry it out. We all have that PTSD of that one September way back. That was, I think, Terry's last year when they
Chicken and
just
beer.
slid down the slide, and yeah, it was
Yeah,
just
well, that wasn't as bad as you guys are too young. I mean, you weren't around for 78 when it was a 14 and a half game lead over Milwaukee and then the Yankees and what happened in Tampa that year. And then they blackballed Terry out of the.
that was bad. It
I,
was just
I,
the dragging through the mud and
yeah.
the last game of the year. And but yeah, Pete, yeah,
Oh,
what's
yeah.
your thought on the team this year?
Well, I think you got to cut him a little slack yesterday. Cease was, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah,
You can say whatever you
Cease,
want.
100%,
Cease was
100% on
effing
fire.
nasty yesterday.
Yeah.
Nasty slider. Getting through the sixth inning. I mean, he was really good. I thought when the Red Sox loaded the bases, what was it in the seventh inning with nobody out, when they scored a couple of runs and still nobody out, they had a chance, but it wasn't meant to be yesterday. They lost 2 out of 3 to a tough San Diego team. They won the first game 10-2. So look, I know they're 3-4, I think, in their last 7, but I'm gonna cut him a little bit of slack. May, the fifth starter, I'm not expecting a lot out of him, or I don't expect a lot out of anybody's fifth starter. You got Crochet going tonight. I think back right before the All-Star break with the Tampa series, I circled August 13th, which was if they can get through all these unbelievable series, what they had between the Rays and the Phillies and the Dodgers, Houston twice, Kansas City, Minnesota thrown in there, now Houston again, and then get to the Marlins, who also been playing pretty well by that. But you get to August 13th and a couple of, or Thursday's action, and they are where they are now. They should be in pretty good position to make the postseason. I think they can still catch the Blue Jays. And the Yankees are in huge trouble. It's great watching the Yankees and Mets absolutely, just absolutely fall flat on their respective faces. But the Red Sox need to keep doing what they're doing. There's a good ball club. I think it's an important series tonight. Crochet against the guy who hasn't pitched in a while for the Astros, and Crochet's been unbeaten in his last 11, I think. So they should be in good shape to win this series, I believe again. Bregman coming back huge.
Yeah, got to take advantage. Gabe,
And
thoughts
Houston.
on the Sox?
The Sox, I'm still excited. The San Diego series, they definitely have more troubles on the road versus home, I've noticed. And I think they should, like Pete just said, they should take care of Houston pretty handily. They do have a matchup with the Yankees coming up, which I'm pretty excited for. That should, it's always good to get the rivalry going, and these teams are fighting it out for what looks like a wild card spot right at this moment, even for the AL East. So maybe we'll see some fireworks, which the rivalry hasn't seen in quite some time. So I'm excited for this team, and I also feel like they should hopefully win it out and make the playoffs and give Boston something to cheer about.
I
I
think
think what is very impressive about this team and Alex Cora, who I wanted canned, by the way, the second week in May. And I've always been an Alex Cora guy. I just couldn't stand the freaking excuses he was making and his not just body language. I don't get too caught up in that, but it was this nonchalant attitude. But I got to tell you, there's a lot of people like myself and others eating a lot of crow. Now I've talked to Sean McAdam, Lou Merlone, Rob Bradford, others that cover the team full time, and we all agree. What's really impressive what Alex Cora has done, and even Terry Francona couldn't do this back in the day. Whether it's Anthony or Bregman or Durant or Trevor Story, it doesn't matter where they hit in the lineup. They don't care. Most guys would complain and
yeah,
bitch and moan and kvetch
very
about
true.
it. These guys they are in sync. Doesn't matter, especially the young guys like Roman Anthony and Durant and others. When they're in there, they just play whatever Alex says is what we're going to do. I think that's very, very different than it was even 10 years ago, where guys would say, no, I want to bat second. No, I'm not going to bat seventh. I'm going to bat fifth. Not anymore. So that's a credit to Alex Cora and how he's handled this team. And I think it's a credit to where they are. And people may not want to admit that, whether it's from the sign stealing days or whatever. They just don't like him. They don't like him. You got to give the guy credit for holding it together. These guys play hard for him. There's no doubt about it.
Hey, our leading home run hitter and Wilyer Abreu, who I believe has 21 bombs, was batting seventh last night. I mean, you're right. These guys are there to play for him, and that's what's exciting to watch. That's what I don't think we've seen in this team, like you said, in a while. Is someone where they don't like, with Devers in the beginning of the year, it was just this snowball, and it just kept going, and it was like as soon as he got out of there, like the tides kind of turned.
Well,
And
they
it was
were. Well,
like
let's be fair. They were winning when he was there. The land. They won.
they
10.
were.
They were. But there's no question. I don't like to use the C word, the cancer word, because I don't. But there's no question. I saw him down here in spring training immediately. I mean, I was here. I live 2 miles away from JetBlue, so I went to a few games this year. I knew what was going on. Talked to enough people. He was a joke. I mean, just
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely a joke. Didn't want to be involved in anything, had no desire to be a team player or anything like that. So they did the right thing. I think from handling his impression for the young guys wanted nothing to do with him. They knew it. They knew it.
Yeah.
And
They
Bregman,
I
thank
felt
God,
there was a rush
Bregman is
signing.
unbelievable. Bregman is without a doubt the captain of this team. You guys know that.
Hmm.
He's not a
Yeah.
captain, he's the captain.
they sniffed out Devers, and he was a malcontent. And addition by subtraction, I mean, you can talk about the return. That's a whole different story in terms of those players and they got back. But it was clear that he was what you just said, Pete, in terms of Alex Cora, not sort of falling into that camp of doing what the team needs. It is impressive that they can mix and match the lineup based on the what righty or lefty going that night. And Cora, for the most part, has pulled the right levers. The starting pitching is really where this team is going to make it or break it. I think here down the stretch, will everybody hold up the way that you need them? And Giolito, tough outing, but if you can count on that three of Crochet, Giolito, and Bayo, and hopefully get May or Bueller to fill in that four spot, you can go into the playoffs feeling
And Bayo
confident.
pitched pretty well. I mean, it's the last
He
two
did.
starts. He's been okay, and he just went into a tough battle yesterday with Cease. It was just. Cease
What did
was
he give up? Like 3-6 or something like that?
Yeah, but Cease was just filthy,
He was.
nasty. It was
He
one of
was
those
on.
games. You tip your hat to the player, and you tip your hat. The thing about Bueller, and he's pitched pretty well overall. I don't know if you guys know, it's unbelievable. He is very, very good. ERA of under 3, usually under 2 in every inning. Fourth inning, you know what his ERA is? About 15. It's ridiculous. So the fourth inning just does him in. If he gets past the fourth inning, get to the 5 or the 6, he's fine. But there have been a few times this year, the fourth inning, he has gotten lit up. But the top 3, you're right. As long as Crochet and Giolito and Bayo keep doing basically what they're doing, they should be in good shape. That is as rough a schedule if you can get of like 20 games out of the All-Star break as anybody in baseball. And so far, so good. Knock on wood. They're doing okay.
Yeah, they ripped off 7 in a row. They had a couple tough series coming out of the break and lose the 2 out of 3. Gabe mentioned it. The home and away stats are big, and that's why these games are big down the stretch, because any advantage that you can get to be at Fenway in the playoffs, I think this year, it's going to make a difference. As we all know, there's nothing quite better than playoff baseball at Fenway Park and the atmosphere that comes along with that. Huge series for them coming up against Houston here. I mean, another good team in the Central. Homecoming first home game for Correa tonight. Back with the Astros after being in Minnesota.
Bregman too. Bregman coming back. Yeah.
Homecoming here for Bregman. So should be an exciting series against the Astros. And then they
I wonder what the odds are on Bregman hitting a home run tonight.
Oh, that might be good to take a look at. Peter, you into any
But
of
Javier was making his first start tonight for the Astros since May of 2024.
Didn't he
So,
hurt his
yeah.
arm? Or was
They
it Tommy?
I got a feeling at least by the second time around the lineup, light him up. Crochet, not a great record against Houston overall. His ERA is 4.34. He's 4-2 against them. But he's on a roll right now. Sometimes I throw those numbers out. The guy, he's been almost lights out through 11 straight starts. So I expect a higher scoring game tonight. This to me has like 8-4 Red Sox written all over it. So we'll see.
Yes, I mean Crochet, if he keeps performing, is certainly a Cy Young candidate for the AL this year.
He should be it right now. He leads the league in wins.
Yeah,
He leads his ERA, strike innings
He got
pitched.
a
Right now, he's
183
right
innings
there.
pitched.
Yeah.
Yes. So you got
He's
to
a horse.
and then
Hog.
the
Big Hoss.
the big pig, I think what Lou calls him. So he's been awesome to watch. Like, it's appointment television to watch his starts for sure. And hopefully the Sox keep it rolling here. And another team that we hope keeps it rolling after their first preseason win on Friday is the Patriots, who absolutely curb stomped the I almost said the R word there, but the Commanders.
You can say Redskins. Someone's going to sue you. Don't worry about it.
Well, it should.
I think they're trying to change that.
Yeah, I think the Redskins want it to be the Redskins still in terms of
that. Well, there's
everything.
there's a Native American organization that wrote a letter stating that they want, that's to them, that was their fierce warriors going into battle. So why not?
I mean,
They probably
Either
get
hand
some
on
money from it too.
it was a moment in time, I think, that if they went back and sort of changed it. Also, the owner of the team at the time was involved in a lot of things that were controversial, so they tried to do some things there. But Gabe, you said you got a chance after the wedding to go back, look at the tape a little bit, break it down for us in terms of what you saw.
Yeah. So, we were at Big E's wedding during the game, so didn't really have a chance to pop it on the phone, but we kept getting notifications, and the score was growing, and the margin of victory was going wider. And it was a pretty exciting moment, albeit it was a preseason game. But it seemed like Drake May had an up and down performance. He had a really kind of ugly turnover on the first drive that I'm glad hopefully he's getting it out now. But he did turn it around in that second drive and was able to score on like a 5-yard keeper. So good to see that. I think one thing that I learned from going back and watching the game is that this team is going to be very run heavy this year. It seems like they got some dogs in Will Campbell, Jared Wilson on that left side now. I know it's still very early, and Washington didn't play their starters necessarily, but just seeing Will Campbell charging downfield, making blocks, and finishing guys to the ground, and it's like, it's nice to see that someone is putting that energy and effort in on the offensive line. It's something we haven't seen in so many years, and I'm excited for this year to get started. I think it's going to be a not a totally different look. I think again it's going to be run heavy with some short passing in there and screens and a lot of that type of game. But yeah, I gotta say that preseason game definitely got me ready for some football.
A little 6 to midnight action, huh?
That's right.
All right. Pete, did you get a chance to tune in? What were your takeaways from
I've
the
gone
game?
over there 4 times. I'm going to tell you this. Stephon Diggs is going to be a key, and hopefully he stays in check as the diva wide receiver, and that's fine. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to disagree a little bit with Gabe about, I think they're going to be a well-balanced team. This is not going to be 3 downs and run in a cloud of dust. It ain't going to be that way. I think they have the talent right now to be mixing in a lot of different situation here. And my man from Eastern Washington, Efton Chisholm III, that kid out of Eastern Washington, the school with the red field, that kid is something special. He's going to make the team. He's the new Welker / Edelman. Led the team in catches the other night in yards. There's something about that guy. I don't know what it is, but I am telling you, this is going to be a well-balanced team. Travion Henderson, I watch a shitload of college football. That kid's a steal in the second round. I think it's an omen what happened. Opening drive, opening kickoff, and then running a touchdown. I wasn't sure I was going to like the new kickoff rule, but having seen a whole bunch of games this week, I love it. Drake May, stupid, idiotic play they did, trying to do too much. I think that he's already, if that happens again in the regular season, unless he's blindsided, I will be stunned. I don't think you're going to see that. Overall, after that, I thought he played very well, looked poised, had the run, had the little deke, and then ran in for the scramble with 11 yards for a touchdown. The defense, I think, is going to be very good. This is all preamble by stay reasonably healthy, that kind of thing. I saw the offensive line brought up a great point about Wilson and Campbell. He brought up a great point about Campbell. Go back and watch Campbell block. He was fantastic. The whole offensive line was very, very good, no matter who was in there. Overall, you had to be impressed overall, but Campbell was great. I was especially impressed. Every time he pulled, the only thing he's going to worry about is being called for an eligible man downfield. He got downfield so fast because he blocked somebody. I don't want him to get called for an eligible man downfield. Very, very good stuff. So I heard Josh McDaniels speak today glowingly, and May knows he screwed up on that one play. So I don't think he's going to try that nonsense again. Get it out of your system in week 1, and we'll see. But that receiving core, I saw Mac Hollins make an unbelievable catch today, who didn't play the other night. Stephon Diggs didn't play the other night, but Kyle Williams is a band. Polk, I think, is going to get cut. Booty is probably going to make the team. But that kid, I'm telling you, Efton Chisholm III out of Eastern Washington, keep your eye on that guy. And Gibson as well at running back. Gibson and kickoff returner, him and Henderson out there. That is those guys can fly, absolutely fly. So overall, I'm very impressed. Night and day from Mizro Mayo to Vrabel. Night and day.
Thank the Lord.
Yep.
Completely different. Kraz, any takeaways first preseason game? You get a chance to take a look at anything?
No, I mean, you guys hit pretty much all the topics right on the head. I mean, I wanted to touch on Efton Chisholm, but Pete did a perfect job with it. I mean, I agree 100%. I think he's going to be that guy. I said to someone at the wedding, I was like, oh, he's going to go really high in our fantasy league. I already know it. You can just, you look at it and you see the same thing. Like you said, the Wes Welker, the Julian Edelman, that slot receiver, it's going to open up a lot of things for Drake May, I think, because he's athletic enough to get it done.
You know what I think is going to be really interesting is who wins the kicking job. So I'm a huge University of Miami fan from the 70s when nobody cared about them. They're going to lose the program. but I've seen his brother, Andy Borregales, and I've seen his brother before that. Andy doesn't miss. He doesn't miss. And then Parker Romo has been amazing. So that's an unbelievable battle in camp. Special teams is big. Special teams, 1/3 is, it's 1/3. It's offense, defense, and special teams. So I think the Patriots should be in good shape. I hope from a selfish standpoint, Borregales makes it, but whoever does the best right now, that might be Vrabel's toughest decision, who stays on as kicker.
Well, I think that was a big thing last year for, obviously they didn't have the record, but they were in a lot of games until the end. And special teams and plays where, you don't convert three. I can't even remember who the
And the
kicker
coach,
was.
it may have cost him at least 3 games last year, single-handedly.
Undoubtedly.
At least 3.
It was a brutal thing to have to watch. We ripped Mayo to shreds throughout the course of the season, and it all started honestly at this point last year when Matthew Judon was pulling the Devers and was a malcontent, and then they shipped him down to Atlanta. So look, Vrabel has command of the ship, if you will. I think this team is, as Pete said, going to be well balanced. I think it's been interesting to see. Kyle Duggar's been on the second unit. Looks like Hawkins and Peppers are the starters there, but you can play rotation and get into different formations with 3 high safeties potentially. Brian Baldinger did an unbelievable video breaking down Will Campbell blocking and really went into detail. And he goes beyond the whistle when he blocks.
He does. That's why. My only thing I worry about him is getting called for a legal man downfield when he pulls. You know, he's that quick. It's amazing, and you don't even realize it. It's like what happened? All right, but
and don't forget, like this team offensively, I agree with Pete in terms of the offense. McDaniels being back is huge, and I think a big underrated thing here. They're bringing back an offense that. Not players that are on the team, no, but that's been institutionalized here across the board, and other people that can teach it that are still around from the McDaniels days. But I think he's going to get creative in how he uses the different weapons that he has on the team here. So excited for them to get going. I mean, it's less than a month away now. I'm praying to God, Gabe and Sam, that when we're returning from Austin, that somehow, some way, that game is on the JetBlue TVs. But
oh my gosh, please!
Or that JetBlue Wi-Fi is working magically
what's
that day.
Oh, you're going. What's that all about?
Gabe's got a big bachelor. So we got a lot of weddings going on for the bros this year. We just had
We had one this weekend.
Eric and Gabe's got one coming up in just under 2 months. So we're headed to Austin, Texas for his bachelor party. But the biggest feature of the weekend is we're going to a UT football game that Saturday. That's Sister Mary of the Poor. I forget. San Jose
State.
So they should crush him, but we're very hopeful that
it's their home opener too.
Home opener, Arch Manning. God willing, they come in off a win from Ohio State the week before and are number one.
Quarter in that game, maybe.
I know.
It's all right. Well, we're there.
I just got back from Dallas. I was in Dallas last weekend.
Okay.
2 weekends ago. I was there, not Austin, but outside. Man, it was 110 degrees when I got off the plane. If you just stood on the pavement, 110 degrees. But I live in Florida, so I'm used to these.
I was going to say, what's worse there?
That's great.
Texas or Florida from the heat perspective. I mean, you got the humidity down where you are.
Yeah, so it's been a lot better lately. Today's only in like 59, 60%. It was actually a beautiful day. 85 degrees down here. It was very, very nice.
Love it.
Sure, it's nice up where you guys are too.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. Yeah, we got a little heat wave going on right now, but we'll take it because we'll be bitching and moaning come December when it's dark at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Late September.
Yeah, right. Don't remind us. So we're gonna milk every moment of the summer.
Getting dark.
I know, and it's earlier every day at this point, which sucks. But we're gonna turn the page now to our guest segment where we dive into some questions for Pete that we got here. So Pete, we're gonna start with a few that we each have, and then we'll close things out with the lightning round. So, Kraz, why don't you kick us off with the questions for Pete?
All right. So as a fellow Rhode Islander and also as a invitee to the Hendrick and Hawk family,
yes.
All of my friends, I went to West, but my friend group were all Hendricken kids. So baseball, basketball, they all we all did the
Cranston West. You're saying when you said West, you mean Cranston West?
Yeah, I went to Cranston West, but all my friends all went to Hendricken. So those were all the kids that I hung out with. So what are your thoughts on Hendricken sports and sports in the U.S. as a whole? Because we got Quiddy Payne and Will Blackman, and some other guys from the NFL. We got Rocco Baldelli and a few others coming out of MLB.
Who just came off.
Exactly.
There's lots of Edmonton Hawks alumni in the. I'm very proud of that. I mention them as much as I can. The Quiddy Payne story is unbelievable. Even back in my day, I mean, back in the '80s when I'm watching, I tried out for Hendricken hockey my freshman year. I used to play at West Warwick. in
Mm.
a in club thing from the time I was 5 until I was 17. But I wasn't anywhere near. I didn't play all year round like a lot of these guys. And I remember freshman tryouts in '82. We had them at Thayer Arena at 4:30 in the morning. All I remember is how much I puked orange juice and Cheerios all over the place. We didn't touch a fucking puck for 2 hours. Didn't touch a puck. It was
Great cardio.
all conditioning. And anyway, but I remember as a fan and sitting there and being able to watch. I remember when my freshman year, Mountain had won 87 games in a row in 1982, and we tied them. And the next time we played, we had 87, a big green and gold won. That was like a huge thing. It actually made like national news. But those championship series that we had with them were unbelievable. How many pros were on the ice, and Brian Lawton being the first American #1 overall pick back in the day. We still keep in touch. He's still been on my shows from time to time. That was something, especially in '83 when we took him to 3 games. It was best of 3 back then. And there had to be 7 NHL players on the ice between both teams, and just the amount of it was just absolutely phenomenal. Cranston East had some good teams back then. I'm very proud of. I went there by my own choice. I never went to Catholic elementary school or junior high. I went there by my own choice from Narragansett, and they tried everything possible to keep me and 5 of my friends, including my buddy David Caprio, Judge Caprio's son, and Frank, who was already there. They tried like hell. They brought us down to the guidance counselor's office, and it was all because of sports. They just wanted us to stick around and play. But I wouldn't trade one day. I got a high school education from down there. I wouldn't trade it at all. I know the public school, Catholic school thing gets a lot of controversy. I understand that. But I also know this, having run cross country my sophomore year, we were running 12 miles a day, 2.5 in the morning and 10 in the evening, while everybody else was running 3 or 4. That's why we won every state in New England championship. For excluding track, indoor and outdoor track, and we didn't win the state titles in those. One time we won outdoor track just on pole vaulting and long jump and whatever it was, and it was great. But we worked our asses off. I'm not saying that everybody else didn't, but I know what the time and effort and all the sports. I was a great JV guy. all the sports that we played, it was impressive to watch, and some great people, great teachers, and I wouldn't trade a day of it. My 40th high school reunion is coming up on Friday, October 16th. I don't know who we're playing, but I haven't been back up. I didn't go to my 25th, so in my 40th, I'm flying back up for. Looking forward to that.
Nice.
Awesome. I mean, Hendrick, the Hendrickian alumni and their impact across all the different sports and really professional sports is truly underrated in this area. I mean, you think about some of the other high schools where folks come out of, and it's certainly up there. So, we love Rhode Island, as we were talking about pre-show. The 3 of us went to URI.
By the way, I root for all the Rhode Island. I root for all the Rhode Island athletes. I don't care Hendrick or not. I want to see everybody in New England actually do well. So. Braintree America going to the League World Series, that kind of stuff. But
you grew up in Narragansett?
What?
You grew up in Narragansett?
Grew up in Narragansett. My 12-year-old all-star team, which I was a third baseman for, Charahoe fucking killed us like 14-1 in the first game. It was horrible.
Charahoe.
We had such a good team. We must have made 8,000 errors. Not me, not throwing anybody under the, but it was just. We couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it. The year before, I was at Warwick Continental, and I was 11-year-old, and we went to the state semis, but we ended up losing in the end to Warwick National. That went on to Bristol that year. But anyway, we digress. But yes, Narragansett Little League was great. Narragansett Babe Ruth was great. Loved because I moved there from Warwick in the middle of 6th grade. I was going to Drum Rock Elementary, which at the time was Women Junior High's elementary school / Tollgate. So I went there. My sister went to Scott School, which was it was like, I don't know, it's like a mile away. For whatever reason, they gave us a choice. I wanted to go to Drum Rock because I really thought I was going to go to Tollgate when I was at Continental that year. And I can't remember the coach's name, but the Tollgate High School coach wanted me. I was 11. He was 3. I was 3 years away from high school, and he was already. You're coming to Tollgate. You're coming to Tollgate. I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm sure I'm going to go to Tollgate. So we moved to Narragansett. My father goes, I can't believe we go to Narragansett. You go back to Warwick to go to high school. But anyway, it was a great decision, and I don't regret anything. But I love when I moved in the middle of 6th grade. It's very tough to move in the middle of 6th grade, and went to Narragansett Elementary, and it's probably harder on my sister, who was a year younger than me. I was in 6th grade. She was in 5th grade, but I got along with everybody right away, and still some dear friends, even some of them that didn't go to Hendrick, and we all still keep in touch. It was a great community to grow up in for the most part.
It was I think as you know, 20, 21 year olds, we had an opportunity to live off campus in Narragansett, each of us. We all lived together over the course of those years. And
Where?
oh boy, all over. Bonnet Shores,
Uh,
Briggs Farm down in Old Eastward, or
Briggs
yeah.
Farms. We had so many parties at Briggs Farms. I
Yeah,
can't
Old
believe someone
Eastern.
ended up in jail. But yeah, my friends all had. I never had a house. I never had a house because I was always working. For a time I was like 20, 21. I didn't go to 4 year school. My friends were all at URI. They all rented a house at Briggs Farms. I had friends that actually lived there, and their parents and everything else. But oh my God,
Let's go house to house walking down the street.
Yeah, you could go trick or
people
treating to parties. It
drinking,
was
people falling
unbelievable.
off
Oh,
the
I
roof
know
at the
Joe. Oh,
into
come on in.
bushes. I mean, it was just parents knocking on the door at the wee hours of the morning. Where's
We
this
could, yeah. I
person?
mean,
Where's that person?
the people who live in Narragansett, especially in those college neighborhoods, it's like,
God
the
bless him.
rules have changed so much, and it's definitely
Yeah,
more strict in terms of
yeah,
things. But
no
it's like, what
question.
the
It
fuck
had to
did you
be.
think is going to happen when 20,000 kids live off campus, and you're renting out these insane houses and paying what you pay for the month, what people pay for a week in the summer. So it was an experience unlike any other, being down in Narragansett, and like we were incredibly fortunate.
Well, I was like, I mean, when we moved down there in 1979, there was nobody there.
Yeah.
Basically, we moved from Warwick to down there because my mom had a real bad back. And at the time, Pierce Cinema had just gotten built. IGA was right across the street. Pit and Patio was right over there. We lived in the townhouses that just got built right across from the Coast Guard house.
Mhm.
And I knew Dave and Frank right away. And our parents and their parents were very close. In fact, they lived next door to us for a while. But that's probably my first sleepover I ever had was at DiCaprio's house.
Uh,
Way way back in the day. And but I mean, it was a great place to grow up because everything was in walking distance. I
yeah.
mean, Pearson was right across the street, IGA, Pit and Patio, and Sprague Park was right up the street. So I could walk to everything. I could walk to junior high back before I went to Hendricken in seventh and eighth grade, and even elementary school when it was nice. That wasn't that far either. So very,
Yeah.
very, very lucky and very fortunate. It was a great town to grow up in.
Yeah, love Narragansett. Nothing better. One of our favorite places in the world for sure. Gabe, let's keep the train rolling here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get us with the next one.
So we want to bring you back down memory lane, back to your WEEI days. Any favorite memories or stories that you could give us and your fans out there?
God, where do you want to begin?
Uh, I had
Maybe
a feeling that'd be a response.
maybe like your
Oh.
favorite on the air moment, one of those, and
I
off
think
the air moments.
one of the funnest times ever. And the studios in Foxborough broke that day outside. So Freddie and I had to do the snow game in 2001, well, technically 2002, but the snow game, the tuck rule, all that crap. We had to do it back, the post game back of the studio. And I remember when Adam kicked the 2-iron shot to tie the game. I mean, it was so emotional. Channel 7 was there filming us bits and pieces, so we had to be on. And when they won it, I remember Freddie just leaping. I don't know how the equipment didn't break, leaping over. He's big guy. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'2.5". He's 6'7", Sasquatch. And I don't know. We were on the floor. Every other radio station in the company, all the three other ones, were in there watching the game with us and everything else. And everybody was just insane. And then we had a half hour to wait for the post game. Then we had to be on. I think we were on until 4 o'clock in the morning, and then John Wallach came in. But I mean, I remember it's obviously the snow, and I didn't go to bed. I just went home and just kept rewinding. That was an incredible day when they won the Super Bowl. Obviously, the first one in New Orleans was unbelievable. And one of my favorites, I have to say, when well, it was good and the bad. The bad Red Sox in 2003 was horrible. When I'll get into that. But 2004 when they won, and I was on the field. Afterwards, they were filming. They had to recut the scene of Fever Pitch because the Red Sox had lost, and this time they had won because they filmed the original where they were down 3-0. So was it Farrell and Drew Barrymore were running out of the stands. We had to watch that. But to sit there and to shake Terry Francona's hands almost immediately, I was just lucky. He hugged his wife at the time, and then I shook his hand. But I stood at home plate. I called my father, and I was bawling my head off. I couldn't believe it. And he couldn't believe it. We're crying on the phone. I was like, can you believe it? And I'm here. I'm here at Busch Stadium. I'm here.
Yeah.
And they just won the World Series. It was so surreal to me. I was numb. I've been numb so many other times before in situations like that. But those are the stuff in there. Now, you want funny stuff? Coming back to the Super Bowl against Carolina and Houston. I was just talking about this with Glenn the other day, or somebody about it the other day. So we're coming back, and Glenn always had a tendency to be a little late, to the airport and stuff. I like being at the airport a couple hours early, even before nine. It's just my thing. I don't like being anyway. Yada yada yada. Andy and I are a great producer, Andy Masua. We're 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 getting on the plane. And we're just about ready to board, and Glenn still isn't there. And he comes, waddling in at the time. He's lost a lot of weight. It's great. He comes waddling in, and we don't see him. We're on the plane. We're ready to come back to Boston. We're doing the show. It's early, it's about 8 o'clock in the morning. We're coming back. It's about a 4-hour flight. We got to do the show 2 to 6. The parade was going to be like the next day or something like that, whatever it was. No Glenn. Fred's wife, Chris, God bless her, stands up. The door's shut. She stands up, and we're trying everything possible to get Glenn back on the plane. Chris stands up. Finally, after the 4th time, the stewardess comes out. It's like, "Miss, you got to sit down, and we're going to throw you off the plane." All right. So Chris sits down, and we're off the tarmac. I'm like, he's going to miss the damn flight. He's missed it. God only knows when the next one. Anyway, yada yada yada. He don't get back till like 8 o'clock, and we do the show. It turns out that, for whatever reason, I forget, that Glenn and Jesse Jackson got pulled aside and strip searched to the degree where they both missed the flight. They were both coming on the flight. I'll never forget it. As long as that's just one. And in 2003, when the Red Sox lost to the Yankees, and I was just livid. I got back to the hotel in Midtown, and we're flying back the next day. I would have flown back that night. I didn't sleep. I was so absolutely disgusted. So I get to the airport. I get on the first flight out of LaGuardia back to Boston at 6:30. And Glenn thinks I'm sleeping in. He leaves me. So my phone's off at the time. He leaves me, Pete. He goes, "I told you, don't leave a business associate. Never leave a business." And I finally call him back. He goes, "You missed the plane." I go, "Glenn, I'm already at the studio. I left on the 6:30 flight. It's 10:30 in the morning. I'm already, our show's until 2. I go, "I'm already here." "Oh, okay."
Unreal.
I wasn't hanging around until 8:30, 9 o'clock to take that flight home. I wanted to get the hell out of that city as fast as possible. But I mean, there's so many more I could think of. It's just
I think for us the memories are, we were younger then, but I think all of our dads were avid listeners to WEEI, and being in the car, and your voice and Big O, and certainly
it was like Seinfeld. It was like the radio version of Seinfeld. You didn't want to miss an episode, and Glenn was great at getting the best out of everybody, and we had a really good chemistry, and it just was a soap opera, and we ripped the shit out of everybody, and it just was. It
was quite a time. I think, and that leads to my question, Pete, in terms of things. I think in this area, sports radio still matters, and terrestrial radio has certainly gone by the wayside, and with all these new digital platforms. But certainly, you have another station in 98.5 that's entered the market here in Boston, and it's really had unbelievable ratings. A show like Felger and Maz that's been on the air for 15 plus years at this point. What do you think it is about Boston, and even how everything's changed over the course of time, why sports radio in this area is still relevant, still matters, and still drives a narrative when it comes to sports in this area?
Yeah, well, look, I think there's a lot of passion from a lot of people. Everybody has, half the people are going to love you on the air, half the people are going to hate you, and obviously, that whole operation has done phenomenal. I mean, from morning drive until nighttime, they've done a great job. And this is what happens when, back in the day, people would not listen to Glenn and myself about going FM early on. I mean, they wanted to stick with 850 because we were kicking ass, and they didn't want to go to 93.7 back then. And they were wrong. And you got fucking consultants, and you got consultants who, a lot of them never been on the radio, and a lot of lackeys who think they know everything, or they come from out of town. They want to put their thumbprint on the station. They have no idea. Boston, Philadelphia, New York are very, very parochial markets. It's very pro-oriented. And that's the way it is. It's not to say there's not college fans out there, because I think New England gets a bad rap as far as not having college, especially college football fans and college basketball fans. But you got to understand where you are. And I think it was great for a long period of time. Sports Hub, by the way, they just fired their number 2 guy. The problem is Beasley Media owns Sports Hub. They're going bankrupt. Odysseys are bankrupt. They're all going bankrupt. So Beasley just laid off a whole bunch of people. Now, it hasn't happened significantly yet in Boston, but trust me, it will. It will. Yeah. Unfortunately, it will, because that's the way it's going. That's a company that was worth almost $310 million not too long ago. Now its net worth is about $7.2 million, which I don't understand how they can do that and pay the rights fees that they do between the Celtics, Bruins, and Patriots. But Odyssey, the same thing, $300 million. It's same cumulus. If you're not going digital, and you don't have a a video platform on any of these shows, you're screwing yourself around the country. It's not even just Boston, but I think because the passion is so good in New England and it's pro sports, I just don't like all the minutia all the time. I don't like reaching for negativity when it's not there. You can have constructive criticism, everything else, but I'm not going to sit there and do 4 hours because Drake May got sacked and had a fumble. Okay, it was a bad play. Move on. There's way more good that happened in that game than bad. You
Agree.
can mention it. It deserves to be mentioned. It deserves to be critiqued and criticized. 4 hours, no fucking way. Not doing it.
And that's part of it. I mean, I went on a rant last week about Tony Maz and his whole situation of being with John Henry up in the luxury box, and it's like you're gonna sit there and rip the team and then go on the radio and try and be a completely different person. It's like it's just fraudulent at that point. So all good stuff there. Appreciate it, Pete. We're gonna do what we love to call the lightning round, where the answer is the first thing that comes to mind with these questions, and then we'll get you out of here, Pete. Well, let's see. We might be right on par there. Kraz, kick us off. Kraz and Gabe will go back and forth, and then I'll wrap things up.
Great.
Yeah, sure. So where is your favorite New England summertime destination when you're back up here?
I'm not up there a lot. Summertime, Georgia's of Galilee. That's where I worked for a couple of years as well as a prep cook back in the day. Georgia's Galilee, and then the Coast Guard house upstairs on the deck.
Love it.
I mean, I guess I get that. That might lead into Gabe's question here, but
that was my grandparents' favorite place.
Yeah. So, Pete, favorite restaurant in Boston or New England?
Oh my God, that is a tough question. I mean, I'm Italian. I use a different last name. I lived in the North End for a long time, so it's I'm partial to a lot of the restaurants there. I haven't been to my friend Jen Royals yet at Table, even though she's been on my show. Oh my God, my favorite restaurant. Jeez. And I don't want to say Capitol Grill or anything. I did like Fleming's back in the day, the one in Boston. I mean, there's so many in the North End that I liked. Nick Verano's a dear friend of mine, so all of his restaurants I love. Strega and the other ones. Back in the day, Fiore's, but now it's closed now. I used to go there a lot. They were the only North End restaurant with a rooftop bar. There's so many great ones. So many great, even Centapio's in Eastie, they'll throw pizza at you, but still the best pizza in Boston.
Indeed. Nothing like making a diversion from Logan Airport to go to Centapio's on your way home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. I'd have to,
It's an impossible question. Yeah.
It is, but most of them are very, very good. Davio's, my friend Steve DiFilippo. That is
Davio's great.
Right up there. He's a dear friend. I'm not just saying that, but Tony, if he's still there, he's been a professional waiter for like 60 years. There is nobody better. Great stuff over there.
Love Davio's. Kraz, take us with the next.
Yeah. Who's the favorite athlete that you've covered in your career so far?
That's another one. I have to go with Tom. I have to go with TB because he always took care of me with interviews and stuff because he knew I was. From Freddie and I were the first ones in his quarter watching training camp in 2001 before the season started, and I knew he was going to challenge Drew. We had talked about it. Everybody sort of laughed at us, didn't really think about it, and then when it happened, even if Mo Lewis didn't have that unfortunate hit on Drew, he was coming out like a game or two later. He wasn't going to settle, but he always remembered that. So did his dad, who's come on my show several times. But Tom has always went out of his way so I could do one-on-ones with him after Super Bowls and other opportunities that I had speaking with him when I wasn't on the big show. I was on Dennis and Callahan a few times and had the chance to talk to him. He was always very, very cordial to me, and I'll never forget it. And so was his dad. And so I'd have to say him. The other one, number 2 and 3 was I got to say David Ortiz and Pedro. I mean, just absolutely. And I could mention a gazillion hockey players because they're the best. Hockey players are the best. Ray Bourque. And company, they were just, I remember Byron Defoe was always Joe Thornton's rookie year. I wish I had some of the tapes of the locker room because back then I was doing flashes for Eddie and Dale's show and I was working weekends with Wallach but I was covering the Bruins and Celtics at the same time. But Joe Thornton is one of the funniest people that I ever got to meet in my life.
Yeah. Recently retired Joe Thornton.
Antoine Walker too. Antoine never shied away from a press conference. There were some bad teams I covered back then. Always enjoyed him and Paul Pierce.
Yeah, that '02 team was a special team. I thought that was, '01, '02, the Patriots in that
Yeah.
time period. I mean, we were kids at the best fucking point possible from
Yeah.
that standpoint. Gabe, why don't you round us out with the
Yeah.
lightning round?
You can't go wrong with the GOAT in that question.
Never.
All right, so we're gonna take you through a little scenario now. You're getting in your car, you're plugging in your phone, or it's connecting to Bluetooth. What kind of music? What kind of artists are you throwing on these days?
I like everything. I'm a classic rock guy, through and through. But I like everything. I mean, it's not like I'm a big fan of Lady Gaga. Outside of classic rock, I love her
Very
because she's
nice.
Italian, and plus, I always loved what she said about if there's one thing about her fans that they should know about her. And she said, "I wish they understood better classical music." She goes, "I'm classically trained." She goes, "Without Beethoven, Mozart, Brahms, and Bach and others, we wouldn't be here." Everything. She goes, every genre of music, whether it's pop, rock, or rap, is based off of them. She goes, "I was classically trained as I was, not at 3, but at 5." I'm not saying I'm like her, but I played my piano all my life.
Pete
But
Gaga.
I remember that. So, but I'm a classic rock guy. That Billy Joel documentary on HBO Max is absolutely phenomenal. I've seen him 11 times. I thought I knew everything. I never knew he had a half brother that lived in Vienna. I never knew that until the documentary. So I like all the classic rock and Aerosmith and Bruce Springsteen, Billy Joel, Elton John. But I like all kinds of music. I don't like heavy. I like music where I can understand the words. Let's put it that way. I don't have filthy lyrics that you have to say F this and screw that every other word.
Love it. Yeah, we're all
Fair
big fans
enough.
of classic rock. We're big.
Great summertime music. You're driving with
Yeah,
your windows down. Yeah,
nothing better.
that's a yeah, great
WROR,
answer.
baby. They crank those
Rocking.
tunes day in and day out. So, and they're still cooking
Is
over
that their
there.
format now? Yeah. We're not,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Excellent. Pete, really appreciate your time. I think we want to end it on this. Where can people find you across the social media platforms, and where can they tune into the show? Give us the down and dirty on that, and we'll get you out of here.
All right. I'm on Monday through Friday on the Coastal Digital Sports Network. You can follow the show is on a credible video platform. Following me on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, at PShep326, on our Facebook pages, on Tampa Joe's up in Tampa Bay, up on my Facebook page, and up on the Coastal Sports Digital Network Facebook page, YouTube, Rumble, Kick, CSD in Florida, LinkedIn. And you can always call the show 727-858-6650. And if you can't watch the video in the car, we have a sports radio app, SR1029 The Game. But you have to download everything's free. I'll never charge anybody to pay. So it's not, you can't punch in 1029 on the dial. You have to download the app.
Sure.
You can listen on the video part on the app, if you plug in your phone, but it might fade in and out. You want the audio. You want the sports radio app. So SR 1029 The Game. And I promise you, those of you in New England, you will not be disappointed. I have heavily New England themed shows. Usually the first hour of every show that I have, you'll recognize a whole bunch of people. Jerry Callahan's going to come on later this week. Big O. John Meter Perel is on once a week. Bill Sparrows from the Boston Herald. Bill Burt. Hector Longo is coming on tomorrow. And Steve Buckley, it's just Ian Brown. You'll hear a lot of New England people. Lou Merlone. You hear a lot of New England people that are on my show throughout any season. And football season, it gets even better. I can't wait. But very excited with Red Sox this year. It's been great. Sean McAdam, another one. So
Love it. I
won't be
love how you keep
disappointed.
it.
There's a lot of football. There's a lot of Florida football with Miami, with the U and the Gators and Florida State and USF. We have a lot of that going on, but this is a huge. I got to take care of my Florida. It's a huge college football area, which I love. So it's all good. We have the New England contingency, what I call the Big Ten contingency, because there's more people down here from Columbus than there are at Ohio State. So we have tons of Big Ten people, and we have our Florida contingency. So it's all good.
Love it. Love how you're keeping all things rolling here and still attracting an audience from up here, Pete. We really appreciate your time. It's been a joy listening to you for 20 plus years up here, and love that you're continuing things down there.
39th year this year. 39th year I've been in this business.
Love
How
it.
stupid am I?
Hey, well, you've made it work and you've
It's
adjusted.
amazing.
And
Yeah.
it's awesome to have somebody that's been in this career join us tonight. Some newbies on the block still.
Well,
So
thank you.
have a great night, Pete. We'll be tuning in. Episode is out Wednesday. You'll see stuff on social. We appreciate it. We'll see you later, Pete. Take care.
Josh, Gabe, Sam, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Anytime.
Hey, thanks for hopping on, Pete. Have a great night.
All right.
Yeah, thank you, Pete. Take care.
My pleasure. You guys too.
All right. Much appreciated. We'll see you soon, Pete.
Thank you, guys. Go Friars.
Oh, man.
All right, boys. See you soon.
I don't
Be
even go
good.
there.
All right.
Take care.
All right, Pete Sheppard, one of one, great guy. Really appreciate his time. We've had some sports radio legends, him, Andy Gresh, and some others that I'm probably not recalling right now, but really awesome to have him on. Fellas, let's wrap up the show. Quick Celtics and Bruins thoughts. I think the biggest thing out of Celtics land is Missoula signs a multi-year extension. I'm just gonna rip everything off here. We can talk
That
about it
also
if we
happened
want.
at Big E's wedding, right? Was that the same
Yeah,
night or
Yep.
night before?
a big E, big night, baby. Jesus
That's
Big
Christ.
E,
right.
big night. I know, right?
Big E,
Lots
big
happening.
night. Lot happening. Lot happening. All right, Missoula signs the multi-year extension. Georges Niang out to Utah, wheeling and dealing with Danny Ainge. Bringing back RJ Lewis, rookie, St. John's. Kind of like it. They get below the threshold on the taxes. Chris Boucher, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but front court option from Toronto at a really cheap event, or sorry,
Hmm.
cheap contract there, 3.3 million. And
And
then in
he was
terms of
on
the
sorry to
Raptors,
interrupt. He was on
oh,
the championship team when the Raptors won up in Toronto. So
he's cooked the
he
Celtics a couple times too.
yeah, it's a good name to add, I think, to the front court and certainly an area where they desperately need some talent. So we'll take it.
Completely agree. Speaking of front court and talent, what in the world is going on with Al Horford? Like he's just gone dark this summer. Like hasn't signed
Yeah.
anywhere, doesn't seem to have any sort of plan. Interesting. Maybe we'll have to nudge Anna Horford on the Twitter machine and get her to reply. Last thing is there was a big event in Providence where Missoula and Tatum were there, as well as Rich Gotham, president of the team for a new childhood center that was opening. But Tatum showed up, no boot, walking pretty good. That recovery, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna get to March and he's gonna be ready to roll and they're gonna have a big fucking decision to make.
Roll them slow. I
Yeah.
don't care what the record
Don't rush him
is. Don't
back.
don't rush it back. Roll it slow. If we get lucky enough to make it that deep into the postseason and he's able to do the things that he's able to do, that's a fucking awesome. That's an awesome fucking get at the end of the year. So my whole thing is, yeah, you're not playing in the playoffs till May, June. If he does come back in March and you slowly space him out, he could theoretically be ready. But like Abe said, this is the guy that's going to be the face of the franchise for the next 10 plus years. If we got to take a break with him and not play him at all, that's fine. But however this team decides to go and whatever Jason Tatum decides to do, ultimately is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it. This year is sort of a mulligan year for the Celtics, and nobody's too concerned about what may happen from a championship or bust standpoint, like it's been the past couple of years. So,
Mm-hmm.
to be determined. Any of the Celtics thoughts that we threw out there, fellas, that you guys want to touch on, or we can. Gabe's got a few notes here on the big bad Bruins as well.
Yeah, I mean, not much in Celtics land, not much in Bruins land really going on right now either. I pulled up some stuff here. There's the Fan Fest tour begins in early September. It actually comes through where I'm living now in Fitchburg. And I was like, oh, that's actually kind of interesting. So maybe I'll go check out the Fan Fest tour and see what that's all about. It'd be cool to see some players there. And I think it's more family oriented and more oriented to the kids, but it seems like something cool that might be worth checking out.
Hey, if it's right there,
Um,
why not?
why not? Just gotta, step out of the house and I'm there. So
Slap a Bruins jersey on, ready to go.
not much happening in Fitchburg. So when you got the Bruins coming this way, it's some big news.
Love it.
And then
Love it.
they just got some preseason starts in late September. So we've got some time with the Bruins. I think I'm pretty sure they'll get some training camp in and start kind of bringing the team together. So who knows, maybe some nuggets to come in the near future.
Yeah, interested to see how the team comes together. As I've talked about, I really think it all starts in net with Swayman. Does he get back to form this year? If he does, this team will make the playoffs, and he hopefully plays that 55, 60 game marker. And I think I'm gonna go on a bold prediction here. Peyton Pritchard-esque, if you will. David Pasternak will be in the MVP talk conversation this year. I see a 60 plus goal season coming from Pasta. So there you go. Put it on the books on August 11th for
I
that.
love it.
All right, fellas, that's around town. Great to have Pete with us as well. Any final takes on anything going on in the world of sports before we get to that segment of the week?
No, let's go
All right.
Sox.
Go Sox, baby. Big game against Houston about to start up now. All right, let's do it. It's time for the things we don't like, the things that fucking suck. Those are the yeah-ohs. And then the things that make us shout, the things that make us go crazy. It's the
Stupendous.
oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I think
So I mean,
universal oh
Breaking
yeah.
biggest
sound
one, right?
barriers.
The biggest one, right?
The
Is
biggest
gonna
Yeah, I
be
think
Mr. E's wedding.
yeah, we've alluded to it a few times here, so we'll give a big oh yeah to Eric and his fiance, or now his wife, Alexis. They had a grand ball this weekend, enjoyed by all. It was just so nice to see Biggie like just so happy, and you could tell it was just a huge moment, a huge milestone in his life that he will cherish forever, and I'm sure for Alexis as well. And yeah, it was a blast. How was your time, boys?
Kraz, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I mean, I was gonna say, I can't ask for anything better for two great people coming together. Both genuinely kind-hearted people coming together and seeing, nothing but love is really what you want to see. These weddings it teaches you, if anything, it's it brings you closer together as a village, so to speak, and it really strengthens that village kind of bond that you get, and it was just good to see you guys too on top of that.
Yeah, that was undoubtedly my favorite part of the evening, getting the five of us together, which, as Gabe alluded to, is more difficult here as we get older, and some of us have moved out of the Boston city limits, if you will. So from that standpoint, it was amazing. To Eric and Alexis, beautiful ceremony done by her father, and he did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Beautiful venue up in Gloucester, and a great
Shout
party.
out to Mr. Dredden. He
Yeah,
he he commanded the floor. I had to make, Plotty, like we were talking about, we're both great public. We both love public speaking, and I told him that he just really owned that floor.
yeah,
So,
he crushed it.
Mr.
I
Dredden,
mean,
if you're listening, you crushed it.
and to do a
Even the
role like that,
Shekianu, my friend.
to go from officiant to father of the bride and do it as
Yeah, to just
gracefully
the
as he
emotions are just,
did.
man, he
Yeah,
killed it.
it was really cool to see. I don't think I've ever seen something like that. So and then the party was great. I mean, great to see some of the other fellas from the fantasy football league, Lenny, Jeff, and Max, and some other fellas that were with us.
Dusty.
So with Dusty, yeah. So it was
Dusty.
great to have that crew together. We could have fucking drafted by at the end of the night with
I
everybody we
know.
had there.
Our
We
whole
could have
league
made
was
some
there.
rule changes.
Uh,
You other Dions and Erlander, you guys are very, very lucky because we had the majority there.
Yeah, there was
Just kidding.
definitely we can assure you there's no under the table things that happened though. Biggie,
No
our
collusion, no collusion.
Commissioner E was a little busy, but it was a great night, great time. Big thanks to Alexis and Eric, and a big congratulations to them. Extremely happy. So Big E's, they're enjoying their time now in the post wedding high. Also, got to give a shout out to Josh because his speech was gold. He did a great job as best man
The
and brother of
M&Ms.
the groom. Yeah, the Eminem story is fucking classic. We'll wait for them to get back to really dig into
Yeah.
that one. And I got to shout out. I apologize. I don't remember what her name was, but one of the speeches on the bride side, the podcast got a great shout out in the room
That's
from
right.
her.
Thank you,
So
thank you, thank you,
yeah,
thank you.
I'm really sorry. I'm not remembering names right now, but we appreciate the shout out, and we talk about sports. That's what we talk about. So uh,
Yes. And also a good horror we had going on.
oh yeah.
We were launching Eric up in the air, and Alexis too. And I don't know, I got a shout out to this guy Nate. I mean, I don't think he'll ever hear this, but he was just hucking Eric up. I
The
mean,
big
he
boy.
must have been like 6'8", like
Six.
three something, like just hucking Eric. And I was so thankful because it just saved me from
Yeah,
so much agony.
I'm sore.
Yeah, I mean,
The horror is that's one of those things there. It doesn't matter who's on the chair. It gets heavy after the fourth or fifth up. You're just you could weigh 10 pounds and it still sucks.
yeah, and you don't do that motion very often in life. You're not
No.
hoisting somebody up like that. So, it's not a natural motion. Horror is a test of endurance as well. So
It
good,
is. It really
good,
is.
good stuff from that standpoint. The saxophonist that was jamming to everything was great. And
Hors
just
d'oeuvres were just out
yeah.
of control. I had my spot. I had
Yeah.
my spot. Always
veteran move there from
veteran move.
Graz at the
And
wedding. So
a beautiful place too, up in
Yeah,
Gloucester, just
right on
on
the
the
water.
water, and it was just fresh air and
yeah,
a beautiful night. Just congratulations to Eric and Alexis.
Agreed.
We had a blast, and we're so happy and excited for you guys to move on to this next chapter of your life.
same
Yeah,
here.
Mazel tov to you guys. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. Got to thank the Judy and Larry Matulski as well.
Oh
Great,
yeah,
great time from them as hosts
Judy,
and their
Larry,
parents. And
Jude.
yeah, great to see
get a little
them.
call out.
Great to see your parents, Gabe. Great to see
Yes.
Josh's wife's parents, and we're really fortunate that they
Yeah.
tune in and week out. It was fun to
And
talk to
we're
them
listening
about the
and
show.
talking to us
So
about it, and
yeah,
speaking with Gabe's dad for a good hour during the cocktail hour, and we were just
yeah,
talking and talking. So it was
appreciate
a
it
great time.
immensely. We love you guys, and
Yes.
Some of our
congrats to
Couldn't
biggest
do it
Big
without you.
supporters.
Alexis. So
Couldn't do it
all
without
right.
you guys.
Thank you, thank you. All right, other yeah that I saw today, big news out of the UFC world. We got UFC moving to Paramount Plus on a 7-year, $7.5 billion contract. Dana
Yes.
White wheeling
So
and
big for
dealing.
me.
It's huge. I love combat sports, and accessibility to that has always been a big barrier to really being able to tune in and get into
Well,
it. And this is going to change that.
it's who, like, I understand, like, that it's a money making business, but who wants to spend $99 on a fight? Especially if you really don't know who's fighting, you're not going to do that. I know back in the day when, it was UFC, 31, 32, when it was, kind of in its heydays and it was a little bit cheaper, we would have watch parties and stuff like that. But, it's not really the case anymore. So for me, I'm super ecstatic, stoked. I don't have to watch this on Discord or Twitch or stream it from someone's illegal download. I can actually watch it on my Paramount subscription. So I'm stoked. So hats
We
off to
should
Dana
have
White telling pay-per-view to go fuck off.
we should have put all our money on Bregman to Homer.
Oh,
Did
damn.
he?
Hit a 2-run bomb, yeah.
Fucking
What did
love
I
it.
say?
We'd
Called
be
it.
rich right now.
Called it.
Love it. All right, Sox off to a hot start
Also,
there.
on that front, I think the Red Zone was recently purchased by ESPN and Disney. And
Ooh.
I've been hearing rumors that they might start adding commercials into it and kind of changing the product
No.
and giving our boys some bathroom breaks. So I don't know. I think the jury's still out to see if Red Zone will have any effects based on who just purchased them as well.
Yeah, we'll see on that. I don't know if it's this season that they move over, if it's going to be next year, but that's a huge partnership between ESPN and the NFL. NFL now owns 10% of ESPN with that deal. So
Wow.
there'll be a lot of football content, NFL pro football on ESPN here moving forward. It is America's game. It is America's game when you think about it. All right, we got one here. Kraz, I got to
Yep,
assume this
I'll
was
take it.
yours.
Yeah, 100%. So on the second game against the Padres, the Manny Machado tried to do a like hidden ball trick and tag out Duran at third. But what the moron didn't realize is he doesn't know the playbook at all. Is that the pitcher was on the rubber and you can't do that. The pitcher has to be off the rubber in order to do the hidden ball trick kind of thing like that. So moron got called for a balk. Well, not well actually. Moron is Manny Machado. Pitcher got called for a balk because Manny Machado was an idiot and a run scored. Did it make or break the game? Unfortunately, no. We lost by a run, but still, that guy's an idiot. Can't stand him for what he did to Pedroia. Love what Chris Sale did to him in 2018. Fuck you, Manny Machado.
Ha, love it.
Let's
Great.
hit the
Yeah.
pike.
Very nice.
Great. Yeah. Let's hit the pike.
He's
Wrap this
catching
baby
strays.
up. All right, Sox in Houston, 3-game set. Then, as Pete mentioned, they get to that point in the schedule against Miami and Baltimore. A few beatable teams there, hoping to make that playoff push. And then preseason game number 2 for the Patriots on Thursday evening versus the Giants. Fortunately, going to be able to tune into that one, so we'll break it all down. Fellas, next week is episode 50 for the squad. We've made it a whole year here in terms of episodes. We've only taken a few things off here with the summer and some major holidays, but as we head to episode 50, none other than our first ever guest, Trevor Haas, makes a return. We're going to talk college football and do a little time capsule talking about the first 50 episodes of the Boston Sports Brothers. So, fellas, any parting words this evening?
No, it's good to see you
No.
guys like always. Good to talk sports. Had a great guest on.
Yeah, big thanks to Pete.
Love it.
That was
Yeah.
awesome. Pete's a
Huge
great
shout
guy.
out to Pete. Yeah, he was awesome to talk to. Had great stories, and just excited
This is why we
to
do it.
listen back to that one. Yeah.
Be sure to check out all Pete's stuff on his social media handles. The Coastal Sports Digital Network is where you can find him, and be sure to take a listen and view of everything he has going on. All right, near, far, wherever you are, we thank you for tuning in to another episode of Boston Sports Brothers, episode 50 next week. We'll see you then. Peace.
عرفت